Okay. Go. You. Once again, good evening. You are trying to prove that the book of Isaiah talks about sex, marriage, and family or thereabout in heaven. Please bring on your point.
Yeah, I want to establish. Yeah, the point I want to make from the passage is that there's going to be childbirth in heaven. So if there be childbirth in heaven, then that automatically means that there's going to be marriage. Because I don't see the reason why there will be childbirth without marriage, unless if that's going to happen through pathogenesis or some other uh, unusual process. But I believe it's going to be through the usual uh, process, or even if not the same, but it's still from the same human being. Because if you read Isaiah 65 from verse 17, it talks about how the people of God will come to, build their own houses, and they will even plant in their vineyards, and they will eat the fruit of their labor. So their labor will not be in vain. And it's continued in verse 23 by saying that um, nor will they, plant in their vineyards. I mean, nor will their labor be in vain, and nor will the children they will born be doomed. So if the children they will bear will not be doomed, it means the children they will bear will be for fortune, which means the bearing of children is confirmed in that passage, Isaiah 65 verse 23. So they will bear children in that time. And if you read from verse 17, it says Yahweh will create a new earth, a new heaven, which means that particular environment is not this world, it is heaven. And then you may want to say, okay, maybe this is the millennia that is talked about maybe in Revelation 20, but I don't think so. I think this is the permanent paradise that people will, continue to live according to this passage in Isaiah 65, unless if you want to prove that it is the millennia, which is, of course, is the time that it is said that Christ will reign for 1,000 years. And maybe that is what but I believe is that particular time, that because if you want to say it is the millennia, then it means that the verse will not make sense, since after the millennia, Satan will still be released to come and disturb. But this particular passage in Isaiah is like the confirmed perfect environment. Everybody will continue to live on, be enjoying. So I believe it is that eternal bliss, and it is saying in there that they will bear children. So how will they bear children without marriage? Of course, they have to have marriage. So marriage is confirmed, unless if you want to say this is not marriage. I don't know. So this is my point that I want to make in as a whole.
Okay. Thank you. From that text, can you show me the exact text that said there will be my sex in heaven? Is there any verse that said that? That's number one question I want to ask you.
No, no verse that says that, but it says so. So okay. Let me put it this way. Can I come in?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Um, if if people want to ask you whether you have given birth, or maybe they won't ask you, did you have sex? No, they won't ask you that, because because they know that's what must have happened before you even have. So you don't have to talk about maybe intimacy before. So that's why I'm saying, if you are saying that it should not be very intimacy or sex, then that means it must be through another process. That's why I say maybe pathogenesis. Or but to say that there will be children, already assume that there's going to be marriage and then sex before the childbirth, unless the childbirth is going to be through some weird means, maybe pathogenesis or something. But I don't think that would be the case.
Is the
Hello?
Bible about is the Bible about what you think or about what it says?
Of course, about what it says.
Why I say you don't think? Why don't you deal with the context?
I'm
Saying
I'm
what
dealing with the context because there's going to be children, and for you to have a children, there have to be something that
okay.
there have to
Let
be
me
the process that God already made.
okay. First of all, let me agree with you that this passage is talking about heaven. That is let me agree with you. I will still go back to that. Do you think in heaven, God is if at all God want to have children, he's only limited to sex? There is no possibility of having children without sex. What do you think about that?
I think that is possible, but since the text does not tell us the particular means, and the particular means that we know of is what we know, so we are going to, base our judgment on what we have on the ground, unless if you can prove it's through another means.
Okay, so you believe in heaven, God can enable his own to have children without having sex. Is possible, right?
Yeah, of course, it's possible.
In this to marriage, then, if you know this is a possibility.
Hello? You said what?
In that book of Isaiah, I'm agreeing with you now. That's the first point. Why are you linking it to sex and marriage when you know it is possible for God to make his own to give birth without having sex? Why are you not saying this is a
That's
possibility? Why are you linking it to sex? Why?
because I'm saying that this is what we know how it happens. But
I'm not talking
what
about link.
I'm considering to is that that's a possibility. But since what we know is what we are going to base our first judgment, that's like the first thing that will come to our mind, and this is what I'm using. Unless if you can prove that it's going to be the other way around. But since this is what we know, and so I'm basing my judgment on what we know, on what we have on the ground.
Okay. Before I go back to the second view of my interaction with the text, do you believe there will be sex in heaven according to Islam?
Yes, of course, there will be intimacy, but it may not necessarily be like in this world, like the one of this world, because
I'm not asking.
Hello?
I'm not asking for his comparison. I'm asking, will there be
Yeah,
sex in
of course.
heaven?
Yeah, yes, there will be, of course. Yes, there will be, of course. Yeah, and that would be good because if God because if God gives us what is good in this world and give us a similar in heaven, then there's no problem. After all, there'll be one in heaven as well.
Okay. Yeah, I thank you for saying that in Islam there will be sex in heaven, but your stars you are praising deny that there will be sex in heaven. He says it's only there will be marriage, but he's not sure if there will be sex in paradise. That is by the wayside anyway. Now let's go back to the book of Isaiah, which this is what I've been trying to correct you all these years, that if you are representing our text, stop using your brain or stop using your idea. I can do the same thing with your Quran. Instead, that's why we go to your tafsir and your commentaries. But why are you, who else interpreted this Bible passage this way you have interpreted that will be marriage in heaven? Which of these Christian commentaries said that?
Honestly, I haven't went through the commentary, but if for example a text is clear, do you need another somebody to tell you something otherwise?
You didn't answer my question. I'm not saying it's not clear. Which scholars or commentary interpreted this Bible passage the way you have interpreted it? That's the question. If you
I
don't know,
think
just
I said I haven't gone through the commentaries yet, but
your own
my
idea.
my position is that if a verse is already, if a text is already clear, do you still need to tell someone to tell you otherwise?
There are possibility in the text. How do you know the text is clear? How do you know? Why are you saying the text is clear?
For example, now, if you are told that there will be wine in heaven, getting somebody to tell you that no, it's not wine, maybe it's something different.
Okay. Let me before I make my point, let me quickly say this. When you do know the meaning of Aleph?
Yes, it's an it's a letter in Arabic
In Hebrew.
Arabic alphabet. Yeah, not only
It's
Hebrew,
also
even
Hebrew.
in Arabic. Yes, even in Hebrew and even in Arabic. Yes, it's the first
That's fine.
Letter.
When we see that in the Quran, we should know that this is talking about first letter of Arabic, right? Is that clear enough? Can we say it's clear enough?
Yes, it's clear.
So Allah is revealing the first letter of Arabic as a revelation to Muhammad. Is that what you are saying? Because the verse is clear.
Yes.
Because it's
yes, the verse is clear in its context.
Allah is revealing the first Arabic letter to Muhammad as a revelation, right?
Yes, in its context. And if you want me to explain, I can go further. I don't know if I can go further.
My question. You can go further anyhow you like. I'm asking. You said if the text.
So what you are doing now is that you are comparing a particular letter with and with a statement that is clear. Now you are comparing a single letter with statement that is clear. Okay. I'm holding on.
Let me make my point clear. I want to hold you by your words that you see some text that is so plain, like it's plain. That doesn't mean you can interpret it as you see it plain. That is what I want to correct. So in the Quran, we see so many plain verses in the Quran, and I said, I can interpret it because it's so plain. No, it's never done. I go by your scholars. I go to the hadith. I go to your scholars, and even though there are some disagreements, I still go to them. This scholar says so and so. The other scholar says so and so. Then I will now see, okay, who is right? Who is at least closer to the truth? That's what we do. But you just come to Isaiah chapter 65. You now say there is sex in heaven without going to the scholars. Without checking. That is not too good.
Let me say something. Can I come in?
Go ahead.
Now, what you mean now is that you deny the plain and the outward text. Now, are you saying that if you say it may not be the case, then you are attempting to say that maybe the verse is meaningless or maybe it's metaphorical? This is why I'm giving you the chance to tell me. But I'm telling you, this is what the text plainly tells us. So now, it's the onus is on you to tell me otherwise. But you are not to tell me that even though the text is still plain, I'm still judging by the clarity of the text. I'm going by the clarity of the text. It's for you to prove otherwise.
I will do that, but I'm correcting you once again. If you are seeing biblical text, do this always. Go to the Christian commentary, Jewish commentary. You may see divergent opinions. There is no problem. But go to our text by the scholars. That's what I'm correcting you. Don't go to the book by your own. Stop saying it's so clear. I can do the same thing with your Quran. I see Alif. I cannot say, Allah is revealing first letter of Arabic to Muhammad. It's wrong.
Alif is not. It's not a statement. So you cannot compare both.
Let me finish my point. I'm not saying it's a statement. That's not my claim. I know it's not a statement, but it's a revelation in the Quran. So it's wrong of me to now say, Allah, if I'm doing that, I'm not being sincere. To be candid, if I'm doing that, I'm not being sincere because I've read in several tafsir, several Quran that nobody know the meaning of why Allah reveal or the meaning of this alif. It's not the same thing with the one we read in the Arabic letters. I understand that. So it's bad of me to now say, Allah is revealing Arabic letter to Muhammad. It's wrong. I can't do that. If I do that, I'm just being childish. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm correcting you. Stop doing that. Go to our scholars. Understand if you have a scholar that said it's
so hello. So what you're trying to say now is that for every clarity we still have to go to the text. If, for example, we are told that God created heavens in 6 days, do I still need someone to tell me, no, it's not 6 days. It may be it may be 5 days. It may be 3 days. This text is so clear. There's no there's no ambiguity in the text, unless again,
Get my point.
if you want to play, how can I put it?
Excuse me, you didn't get my point at all. We are talking about scripture. We are not talking about English textbooks. Don't you know? So I can do the same thing. Quran, I can give you many verses in the Quran that is so look plain, but at the end of the day, if you interpret it, you say, this is not the interpretation that is supposed to be.
That's why I'm saying it's either you say it's metaphorical or something else. But that's why I'm telling you to prove otherwise. You are just telling me that I haven't seen what's your own thought on it. Tell me.
I will tell you, but I just want to correct you once again, as I've always done, that it's never too good of you to come online and be saying rubbish about our text. It's not too good.
That's why I want rubbish, because this is it's for you to prove otherwise. It's for you to prove otherwise. No, it's not rubbish, because the text says that they shall be children who are not to be doomed from who will not be in vain. So they will be children. That's a confirmed text there.
I will. That's why I'm calling you. I will prove otherwise. That's why I want to take pains. That's why I said, should I call you? I will do that, but I want to take it one step after.
To prove to me that they will not bear children. That's what I want you to prove to me. So go on and do it.
You have not taken the question I do. Instead of you to say, thank you, you've corrected me, I will not do that again.
That's not, unless you prove otherwise. Unless you prove otherwise before I take it.
I will show you that the text is not as plain as you think. That's why I said, stop going to the text by yourself.
Then prove it, then I will take back my word. But if you're not able to prove it, then then it's on your own side, you also apologize to me for standing on what the text really says.
I will do that. I will do that. Now, from the text, you believe there will be death in heaven? People die in heaven?
No, people don't die. Of course, they will live on, or unless you are talking of metaphorical death.
If this passage talks about death, if you read,
no, it doesn't talk about death.
Let me see the verse.
It doesn't talk about death at all.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Maybe I'm mistaken. Hold on.
It's a time that there will be no misery at all. It will be endless enjoyment, endless happiness. So
let's read verse 20.
Hello?
Read verse 20.
Verse 20? You say verse 20, right? Okay, let me...
Hello, are you there? Hello? I cannot hear you. Hello? I cannot hear you. Hello?
Hello?
I cannot hear you.
It says that never will there be a baby that will live but a few days, and never will there be an old...
Hello?
And it says, never will there be an... Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, but you are ceasing.
Never will there be an old man that will not live out his years.
Okay.
So this part is not talking about death at all.
It's the text.
Rather saying that it is saying that there will not be children that will live few days, just like we have right now, that some babies will just live few days and they will die. So in that time, baby will not live. The baby will never live but few days, meaning they will live on and on.
Okay, finish the text. Finish the text now, and let's see if it talks about death or not. Are you there? I want you to swallow your words if you are not, if you are sincere, if you are truthful to yourself. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Please finish the text. Finish the text, verse 20. Read it to the end.
And I'm okay. Let me copy so that it will be easier because I have to go out of my before I can get.
Can I read it for you so you won't have to go out?
Okay, let me paste it so that I can read directly from the.
Okay, I'll be waiting. Read it and let's see if it talks about death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Are you
read
listening?
it. Go ahead.
Okay, it says, "Never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days, or an old man who does not live out his years. The one who dies at 100 will be thought a mere child. The one who fails to reach 100 will be considered accursed."
What is the meaning?
So, are you saying hello?
Anything. I'm asking you. Does the verse talks about death or not?
So this a comparison. I don't know if you know what comparison means.
Asking. Does this verse talks about death in heaven or not? If you are texting this verse,
It talks about comparison of what happens in this age and that age, that a child at that age will be like an old man of this time. So it does not mean that there will be death there.
Are you sincere?
No, sorry phone.
Are you sincere? Is that
Hello,
your wife?
yes. Somebody is talking to me.
Wife is talking to me. Sorry.
Yeah,
Hope
someone.
we are not disturbing.
No,
If you
at all. No.
you can call it a day and meet another time if you are disturbing. If you are not, let's continue. This verse, if you are sincere to yourself, this verse talks about what? I'm not saying if it's comparing on what is the meaning of this last part of the verse. Tell me.
You see, what you're doing is that you are like overlooking the language used. There's a comparison there, and the comparison is to hello.
You
Can
say
I
it is.
finish?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me. I'm asking you.
Yes, I'm saying there's a comparison here, and the comparison is to tell you that a child of this time will be like an old man of that time. So, which means that people will live on and on. It's not talking about that. Since it's talking about happiness here, then it will not be, because you see, okay, let me first read where it says that never would they be give birth to children that will be doomed for misfortune. So it's not talking about that here. It's a comparison in that text which you are failing to see.
Doctor, where do you see comparison in verse 20? Show me the words.
Okay.
When the words is saying compare, you see as.
Okay, let me show you the comparison once again.
Show me.
He said, "Never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days," which means that children will not die.
You said what?
An old man who does not. Hello.
Children will not
Hello.
What? Say it again. Say it again. Children.
Never again will there be in it an infant. Do you see it there?
Say it. Children will not what?
An infant who lives but a few days.
Oh, children will not. Children will not what?
You're not listening to the text. Never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days. What do you understand by that?
I'm asking you. You said something now. I want you to repeat it. Children will not
die there.
Not die.
Yes.
Okay. What will happen to them?
Of course, they will live. They will grow. They will live and grow. This is what I'm reading. It said, "Never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days." It means that they will not. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it means that children, just like in this life, children in that time will not die because they will not be conforming to the nature here. So never will they again be in it an infant who lives but a few days, or an old man who does not live out his years.
Okay,
You see
leave
that
out.
an old man does not live out
What
his years.
what
Now,
leave out means? When the
when
word say leave out,
hello,
what does what leave out means? When somebody leave out
hello,
his year, what does it mean?
uh,
When the verse said leave out his
me
years, what does it mean?
again, again, you are failing to see languages.
Stop telling
In
what
Hebrew,
tell me what the meaning of leave out.
when we talk about years, it can mean
You
forever
don't,
because there
you
is
understand?
no word for eternal for eternity in Hebrew. Do you know that?
Excuse me, I'm asking about it. I'm not asking about Hebrew. I'm asking what does leave out his years means? When English was say leave out his years, what does it mean?
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. When the verse said
There, there is
that will not
no word
leave out,
for eternity in Hebrew, so it has to use the word yes or a long time because there's no word for eternity in Hebrew. And if you think there, you can bring this word sometimes. When hello, this was sometimes when yes is used in Hebrew, it
I'm
could mean
not
eternity. That's what. No, I'm
I'm
telling
not
you how the text should be should be read in Hebrew.
not asking you for eternity. I'm
Ah,
asking what is the meaning of because you are reading the English to interpret the Bible. Do you read the Hebrew to interpret it the way you interpreted
because
it?
I know there's no word for eternity in Hebrew. That's
I'm not
why I'm
asking
telling you that
question.
yes
You
can
are
mean eternity.
asking, what does the word mean to live out his years? What does it mean to live out his years?
To live out it yes, it could mean to live forever. To live out his eternity. It could mean that. Unless if you can show me what word means eternity in Hebrew that is not in the text.
So, because you are on record, doctor, and I ask you, are you sincere? You say you are sincere.
Ah, show me. You see, as in me, you can show me the word for eternity, which you cannot find in the text. That's when you will say, okay, this is not talking about eternity. But
Not
I've
eternity.
told you that there is no word for eternity in Hebrew. That's why
Not
sometimes you see them use the word yes
excuse me. The
or a
onus is
long
on
time.
excuse me.
Or you should sometimes use a long time. So if you use a long time, that may connote that maybe it's a limited time, whereas in reality it could mean for eternity.
Doctor, you are not. I'm not asking if it is eternity or not. I'm asking the verse is talking about death. I'm not justifying the verse is talking about eternity. Why are you asking me to bring what I never said? You are the one that's supposed to bring eternity here. It's your duty to
That's
show
what
me
I'm
eternity.
saying. The word yes can mean eternity. Yes.
How, when the verse said you will live out your years, does that mean eternity? Can life be lived out in eternity?
Can eternity mean yes or for a long time? This was the Hebrew use, in other places, which we are failing to see here as well.
The man will live out his years.
Yes,
Does that
it could mean
mean
he could live forever because yes can mean eternity.
okay? Is the verse talking about eternity? Why are you saying bringing word that is not there? Show me the word that stands for eternity here.
Because, like I said, because yes can mean eternity in Hebrew. You are still not dealing with this.
Yes,
There
I'm
is no word
asking.
for eternity in Hebrew. That's why I say sometimes the word yes can be used to mean eternity.
You're not getting me. What I'm doing for the people that will listen to this audio conversation, I want to show Doctor that he misrepresented our text. That the
I
text is
did
not.
not, unless you can, you see, up
No,
until now, you have not told us
can
the exact meaning of they will bear children.
I make
And
my
I'm
point?
telling you that this particular passage is talking about a time where there will be happiness for eternity. There will be no death. People will enjoy they will enjoy the fruit of their labor. And you are here telling me that there's no eternity, no Hebrew word for eternity. And I'm telling you to give us the context. If I'm wrong, that there will be no children.
Can I make my point?
Yes, go on.
When what I'm trying to do here for those people that will listen to this conversation is to show Doctor that he has misrepresented our text out of ignorance. I'm sorry to use that word. This is what I've been saying. Now, he said there is no death in heaven. Yet the verse 20 is talking about some people will live out their years. In heaven, there is no living out of
A
your
call came in. A
I
call just came in.
ask you,
Hello.
can I finish my point?
Yeah. You can go on.
Okay, so there is nothing like living out one's year in paradise, in heaven. There is eternity. There is no
Can I?
death. Excuse me, let me finish my point.
All right.
There is no death. There is no young one that will die or old one living. This one has lived up to 1,000 years and he dies. No. And doctors agree with me that there is nothing like that, death in paradise. So if you are saying there is nothing like death in paradise, verse 20 of this verse said, no, the person that will not be young one that die. Nobody, you will not see young children dying. Somebody that live up to 100 years will be like a sinner. So even that's another point. Will there be sinner in paradise? So
Where do you see sinner hello? Where do you see sinner? Which version are you reading? Because the version in front of me is not it's not talking. It doesn't have anything like sin here.
There is not thence anymore a suckling of days, and an aged man who does not complete his days. Can you see? Aged man who does not complete his days.
This is a comparison. Oh my goodness. Do you understand what comparison? Can I do the place?
You can go ahead, but you are not
Let me read it so that you can see. It says, the one who fails to reach, you see, the one who fails to reach 100 be considered.
Let's stop at that. What does that mean that somebody failed to reach a certain place? What does that mean? Does that mean eternity?
It's a comparison. Oh my
God.
What? You don't get maybe did you take a class in literature?
No.
Maybe you didn't take a class in literature because me, I did literature.
No, I did literature.
So if you did, there's a comparison here.
One after the other. You are reading. I'm not reading my version again. You are reading your own version now. Read again and let me question you on the verse you are reading. Read it gently. If you are truthful,
this is NIV. Let me read. It says, the one who fails to reach 100 will be considered accursed.
Hold on. Will there be a curse in paradise?
There will not be. This is why the verse is saying that the one who fails, but there will not be. It's a comparison.
Okay, show me the word comparison. Show me the comparison there.
If you read from the beginning, you know that a comparison has been made. This is why the verse. This is why you don't chop verses from the half. Let's read from the beginning. You see that a comparison is being made right from the beginning of the verse. The same verse.
Show me the comparison. Show me.
From the start. Never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days. Now, this is a comparison with this our world. You see, the verse is comparing.
Excuse me, show me our word in that verse.
Because it says, never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few. Because in our days, we have babies who live few days. Right? But in that time, there will be no more.
Doctor, you did literature, right?
Hello?
You did literature.
Hello?
You did literature, right?
Of course.
Okay, what are the words we use in comparison in literature?
Hello?
What are the words we use in literature for comparison?
There are many words that can be used. There are many ways that you can compare things. And here, this passage is comparing our time with the time to come.
What stand for comparison in this text? What are the words that stand for comparison?
Because the text is contrasting our time with the time that will come. So there's a contrast, there's comparison here. Unless if you want to tell me that in this age there are no babies who does not die in few days. Can you prove that in this our age children do not die in few days?
Which
can you prove it?
Excuse me, which text talks about comparison? Give me the word that stands for comparison.
In our time, babies die. There are babies that die few days, right?
That is the text. Show me that in the text. It's comparing like
show me. It's saying that in that time there will be no babies that will die few days, but in our time, baby died few days. This shows that there is comparison here.
Using your brain. Let's deal with
unless if you can prove that in this time there are babies who do not die few days. Can you prove it?
Excuse me.
You see, you cannot prove it, and yet you are telling me there's no comparison.
Yeah, there's no comparison with the text. If you are saying it, show me the comparison.
So you mean that in this time there will be no babies that die few days?
From the text, show it to me. Show me from the text. I'm not talking about our word. I'm talking about the text. The text, go. Show me from the text.
Hello?
Show comparison from the text. Stop adding your own thoughts and ideas. Show me the comparison from the text. I'm waiting.
Thank you. So let me land. Let me land.
Go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, if you read from verse 17, it says Yahweh is speaking. He said, I will create a new world and a new earth. That means something different now is coming in, which is not in our own world and on our own time. So that is the first beginning of the comparison. So when we come to verse 23, it now says that never again will there be in an infant who lives but a few days. Never again will there be, which means that in that time there will be no children who will live few days. But in this time, there are babies that live few days. So there's a comparison, unless again you are not dealing with the text. You're not dealing with the difference of times.
Doctor, show me from the text. I'm not saying there are no people that die. I'm not saying that. From the text, go show it to me now. Can I do that with your Quran?
I'm showing you about. Oh my goodness!
Adding your own idea. Show me from the text.
Unless you can prove that in our time here, there are no babies that die within a few days.
I'm not saying there are no babies that die. I'm saying I agree there are babies that die. Show me from the text that said.
Agree with me that is the comparison.
With our time. Show it to me now. Stop doing this. Show it to me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
That's maybe you not do literature.
I'm waiting for you.
I've already made the comparison, but you are failing to see it. Hello?
I didn't say any comparison, sir.
I have made the comparison, and I believe those who are listening can sense the comparison. It's you alone that's not sensing the comparison, because I proved that in our present time, babies die in a few days. But in that time, it says that baby will not die in a few days.
You are adding your own ideas to the text.
No. Unless you can prove that in our time now, we have babies who do not die within a few days. Unless if you can prove it.
It's not about our time. It's about the biblical text. Stop doing this. It's never too good of you. Stop doing this.
No, you are not dealing with the text. No, you are not dealing with the text.
Okay.
And up until now, you have not tell us what it means that they will be children. You see, you keep creating stumbling blocks, but you have not come up with anything.
I've been able to show you that the verse is not talking about paradise. You know that
unless you can prove to me that in our age now, babies don't die.
The text is not talking about it's not talking about hey.
It says never again will there be in it an infant who dies but few days.
Yes, but
so are you saying that in our time now, babies don't die within few days? They die.
Does the verse now said people will not die? The verse is not saying that. Why are you saying doing the Bible?
You are ready to see the comparison, and I know.
I'm only telling you.
You are doing this to avoid telling us what it means that they will bear children. I don't know whether you are creating these stone blocks to avoid. You see, I have made my position clear. It's the onus now is on you to tell us what it means that they will bear children.
Able to show you that the text is not talking about paradise, because the verse talks about.
Unless you can prove that babies don't die within a few days.
You said?
Unless if you can prove that baby don't die within a few days in our present time.
Possible. That is what happened. Why should I be proving that? Can I prove what is possible?
Are you saying babies don't die within a few days in our time now?
Text is not saying in our time. And our time is not. You are
only
adding
the text is making comparison.
Show me the word
and that time.
Several times.
Yahweh says that He will create a new earth and a new world in verse 17. So it's entirely a different environment.
Yeah. I'm not. That's not. I agree. It's a different.
So why are
But
you still denying?
verse is not talking about paradise. It's not talking about heaven that you are
It is to be
misrepresenting our
children,
text.
because at this point you are just stagnant. So let's move ahead.
You want
Tell us what it means that they will bear children.
you are misrepresenting our text, and it's not too good of
No,
you.
not at all.
It's not too
No,
good.
not. I'm dealing
Stop
with the
doing
plain text. I am dealing with the text. And
to
if you think I'm wrong, then tell us what it means they will bear children.
this verse is talking about the time God is preparing for the people of Israel. Promise of good earth, promise of living good for the children of Israel. So it's not talking about paradise, because there is no death in paradise. There is no curse in paradise. You can see from verse 20 that the verse talks about a curse. Go to the scholars and tell me the verse that interpreted the
Hello,
verse.
can you come again? What does it mean?
He said,
What does it mean? Can you come again? Because it's like I lost the track.
yeah, I said the verse is a prophecy of a time that is coming. That people that live in the kingdom of God will live in a new heaven and in a new earth. That they will enjoy the promises of God. They will enjoy great good news. They will enjoy benefit of being the children of God. So it's not talking about though they die, but at least they will they will live a better life than their forefathers. So these are the promises God is making for His own, not in heaven. Heaven, you don't die. Heaven, you don't have sex. Heaven, you don't have children. The Bible said you are like angels. You don't have sex organs. So stop bastardizing our text, doctor.
Hello, can I come in?
You are free.
You see, you are not using your own head. You see, the same thing you accuse me of, you are not trying to do the same thing. That it
Okay.
is not talking about paradise. The verse makes clear that there will be no death. The death you are trying to sneak in there is a comparison with our own life. So there is no death, and so what you are doing is that you are doing the same thing that you are accusing me of.
Can I come in?
So
Can I come
so
in?
no, let me finish.
All
And
right.
the second point you are making, that maybe there will be like angels in heaven. What did the angels in heaven did in Genesis? They came down and having intimacy with the humans, right? And you're telling me that they don't. You can come in.
Okay, thank you. Let me start from where you finished. The angels, there are two interpretations to that verse, Genesis chapter 6. So stop using the angels came down. Some people believe, some scholars believe the generation of Seth are that children of God. Some scholars believe they are angels. And if, let me agree with you that they are angels. Let's go by your interpretation. Fine. They never had sex in heaven. They came down to earth. It's not in heaven. They came down to where they can add on human flesh. It's possible for them. So angel came to visit Abraham. Even in your Quran, angel came to visit Miriam. He came in all respect to represent human being. So why are you telling me they can do all these things? Even in your Quran, angel want to sleep with children, with children in your Quran. So please don't let us go there. That is deviation. Now let me now tell you. You say I'm accusing you, I'm doing the same thing I accuse you of. No, I'm not doing the same thing. Before I called you, I checked the commentary. The commentary said what I said. I'm not using my brain. That is the difference between me and you. You yourself, you said you have not checked any commentary. I checked the commentary before I talk. I checked about 2, 3 commentary before I called you. So that is the difference. I checked the commentary. So I'm not saying this out of my brain. That is the difference. You never check any comment. You confess. You said you never check anything. So why are you now saying I'm doing the same thing you accuse me of? No, I'm not doing the same thing. I've checked the commentary. So that's why I'm able to call you. So please,
Can
doctor,
I come in?
go ahead.
Okay. You said you have checked some commentary. Please, I would like you to bring me to. I'll do that. I want you to give me a the Jewish interpretation of this verse and that of Christian, and let's compare, because I know Christians do have differences with their own commentary with the
Yeah.
Jew. Sometimes you find Jew saying entirely different things from what the Christian wants it to look like.
Yes.
That's number one. Then number two, I want to ask you this question, please. What is so bad in having intimacy? If God would consider marriage to be holy and intimacy between married couples to be holy on earth, why not in the next realm he will create from the woman. What is it that is so evil? Because if, for example, wine that you consider is evil, drunkenness is evil here in the world, but yet Yahweh says that there will be wine in heaven. So if you think, okay, now wine on earth causes drunkenness, therefore we shouldn't have it in any form in heaven. Why is that not the same case with wine? But why is it? But why are you trying to listen with intimacy? This is what I don't get. I don't know if you can prove that. Okay, I don't know, because I can't wrap my head around the issue, because every time people bring up this, I just can't get it.
Yeah. I can see reason why you want to insert sexual paradise into Bible by all means, because you have the problem of interpreting it. That's why you bring in no problem. That's why you're supposed to ask question instead of you saying it. Why can't you take it up in the form of question instead of you saying there will be paradise, sex in heaven in the Bible? Ask Christian, ask Jews, what is the interpretation of this verse? We will tell you. Instead of you saying there will be sex in heaven, saying it straight away it irritates me, saying such things. Instead of you to say such things, ask Christians, ask the Jews, so that they can interpret their books for you. Instead of you not telling me to go and do it for you. You should have done that as your assignment before you come online to embarrass yourself. It's not too good of you, doctor.
No, this is not. No, I'm dealing with the text.
Now
I'm dealing with the text. And you telling me, hello, and you telling me I should go and ask the Jew. Do the Jew always agree with you on many things? Don't the Jew accuse you of misinterpreting their own text?
I cannot
So
respond to
stop
your
trying to make it look as if, LOC, stop trying to make it look as if, this entirely of my own fault. I'm just going by the text. Do you respect the Jews for what they have said about their own text? No. You yourself, you know that there are some things that you twist, that they don't agree with you. They accuse you of twisting their own text. So
why
stop
don't
trying to make it look as if I
why do
am the
you
one that is idiosyncrasy. Like, hello?
we take forever to allow me to finish my point.
Oh, okay, go on.
You had interpretation of your books. You don't go to the Jews. You just go to your brain to explain the Bible. It's not too good. That is what. Now, if you know Jews have interpretation, why can't you say this is the interpretation of Jews? Christians, can you see yourself? That would be too good of you. You have done a good, wonderful job, but you interpreting the text outside Jewish context is not too good. Please come next time to show me Jewish context of this verse. Then we know how maybe they agree with you or they agree with me. So that would be good of you. That is your assignment. Please do that. Now, let me answer the second reason you raised, that if God, you make a point in the group the other time that God created sex in heaven. No, God never created sex in heaven. It's here on earth. The Garden of Eden is not in heaven. You are mistaken. It's in Quran that talks about heaven. That's another thing you are discussing. Now you ask me, if God allows sex, why is it so difficult for him to allow it in paradise? No. The reason why God permitted sex, according to the Bible, is to procreate, to multiply. So if there is that's why I asked you initially when we started this conversation, that if God wants us to procreate in heaven, we don't need sex. It's in his presence. He can declare, go and give birth, and without having children, without having sexual partner. It's possible. For God, it's possible. You can. So if in heaven, the Bible said our body, we have a change system, a change body. We don't need procreation again. We don't need to have children again. That's why we don't need sex, because we are in the presence.
Can I come in, please?
Come in. Let me land. You can come in. You can come in anytime I finish my point. So we don't need sex partners. We don't need woman. We don't need man to. If at all we want to if there will be a procreation, but the Bible never said there will be procreation. If there will be procreation, we don't need man, sex and romance before we procreate. But there is no need for that. So the Bible has explained to us that we will be like angels before the presence of God. There is no marriage. Jesus said that there is no marriage and there is no remarriage in heaven. So you coming about and say, and I never said sex is sin. No, nobody said that. Okay, there is war on heart. Will there be war in heaven? If you are saying everything that is on earth should be in heaven, will there be war in the paradise after everything has been completed? Will there be war? Shall we still be fighting Boko Haram in heaven? Since we are fighting Boko Haram here, should we go? No, if it's happening here, doesn't mean it should happen in heaven. Stop using earthly experience to now put it to paradise. So far we are in that, we are going sex, we should go to heaven and enjoy sex. No, the Bible never said we will have sex. The Bible never said we will create them. The Bible never said we will create. So we should stop where the Bible stops. Instead of me to be adding to the Bible, it's never. I don't have to. The Bible never talks, and we don't know all of us. We cannot know all of us. We only know little he revealed to us. So I won't have to what the Bible. The Bible never said we have sex. So we need to think how we have sex. How can we drink wine? Why not sex? We will do this. Why not this? We will wear clothes. Why not this? No, I don't trouble myself because Bible never. If the Bible said we have sex, I don't have problem. But the Bible never said that. So don't add to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to touch on what you said that, oh, the reason why we are allowed intimacy is because of procreation. I don't believe so. That's not the only reason. Because if there would be wine in heaven, what is the reason why God gave us wine on this earth? To quench thirst, right? And to feel good. So do we still need that in heaven? If there will be no taste in heaven, why will still the same wine be allowed in heaven? So you see, you say it's for no. I don't believe it's for procreation alone. No, it's to it dies in prime purpose, but it serves other purposes as well, and you know it. So I don't think that's a good point.
Like what?
Then number two, you say hello.
Like what? Tell me those purposes.
So are you saying whenever a couple gets to be intimate is just for the purpose of procreation? No, that's not the only the only purpose. Or is that the only purpose?
I'm talking about Bible. I'm not talking about your own idea. I'm talking about what the Bible tells me. When God created Eve, He said, "Go."
And that falls short of reality because that is not the purpose alone. That falls short of reality. Let me continue.
Reality. Stop doing this, doctor.
It's full of reality because we know that's not the only purpose. When people get together intimately, that's not the purpose. Just to
me the purpose.
No, that's not the purpose.
About idea. I'm talking about Bible. I'm talking about Bible, not your idea.
Okay. Yeah. Let me say this now. Okay. If, for example, somebody who already hit menopause, right? So should that mean that she can never get intimate with her partner since she has hit menopause? She cannot give birth. Does that mean that she will never get intimate with her partner? So you see, it's falls short of reality. This is what I'm saying. Hello?
Go ahead, make your point. And
the other point you brought, you bring that okay, maybe it's on earth, not in heaven. But how does that? Although I like it that you say okay, that's not sin. I like this particular passage. You said that's not sin. So if it is not sin, because the reason why I'm asking is because that is most of the objection that people try to make. Although not you necessarily, but there are many people that come with this kind of oh, that's too bad, that's too naughty, that's not. Well, why would God allow it if it is something bad? We know God is so hypocritical. Although you say you are going by what you know, although I also agree with that. That's what your book tells you. But since you say it's not a sin per se, I like that particular part. So you and I agree on this that is not sin by itself.
Let me tell you.
Only that you don't find it in your own scripture, but me, I find it in my own scripture. But since you and I agree that that's not sin, then fine. So we are good on this. Then the other part that you raise that that people will not be given in marriage or will not marry in heaven. I have issue with that because the reason why I say I have issue is because of what the Sadducees asked Jesus Christ and the answer he gave them in response that I have issue with. Because the Sadducees were asking that whose wife will a woman be after she marries a series of husbands? And the Sadducees do not believe in resurrection, so they were asking hypocritically. So the answer that he gave them must be in line with what they asked. And this is why Christ is that in heaven, people will not die. They will be like angels. In the book of Luke, that's specifically in the book of Luke, that people will not die in heaven. They will be like angels because angels do not die. So they be like angels. So if they be like angels, it means they will never die, such that there will be a necessity for somebody to go and marry his brother's wife. I don't know if you are getting my position here, because if in heaven people will not die, then it means there will never be a condition where you'll have to marry your brother's wife if she never gave birth to a son. So that doesn't mean that there will never be marriage in heaven. Only that in heaven people will not die such that they will be forced to marry whom they don't like, but they will be like angels who will not die, who are content with whatever God gives them. This is what I understand from the text. Although you may want to say that, okay, because like you said, that a text may be plain, but it does not necessarily mean what the plain text says. Because going by the plain text, it may seem that as though there will not be marriage in heaven at all. But it can be interpreted in the way that the Sadducees asked and the way that Christ answered them. So this is the what I understand from the text.
Let me say this last.
I think what you brought is good. I will go and check the Jewish interpretation and compare it with what you have in your own commentary and see. Then again, you and I agree that it's not a sin. Intimacy is not a sin, whether on earth or in heaven. But although you don't find it in your own scripture, fine, I'm good. So, and then the last part is hello.
Let me say this last bit. Go ahead, finish your point.
So and then the last part is about this. People will not be given marriage, nor they wouldn't marry. What I understand that is very different, like I've explained. So this is the point I want to make.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, this is my. I agree with you that sex is not sin. It's not a sin. If the dividing line where we disagree is that when in the Quran, we now read in the Quran that there will be sex. We describe different type of thing that will happen in sex. We have virgins, they will be flying them, this and that. This and I was expecting, if at all we know this is possible, we should have read in the book of Moses. We should have read in the book of other prophets similar thing. If we read in those books similar thing, then we have no problem. But none of the prophets said what Muhammad said. That is why I disagree, because I never see traces of sex in heaven in all the books I read. If you have them, you can bring them on. The one you brought now, we see have we still have other, you still have to check the commentary. I'm showing you my own commentary, not saying sex. Now that's why I disagree with Quran that there will be sex in heaven, because I didn't see it in other scriptures like the Old Testament or the words of Jesus. Again, you said Jesus said in the marriage in heaven, Matthew 22:30, about there will be no, we will not give marriage, neither will they. The Bible is plain. Jesus is hiding what we that we just we had our own, we don't have our mean. We should not do that. If we are talking that not good, any person that not good. Jesus said that we know sex, that we know marriage. When he said marriage, giving him marriage, it calls for sex. So nothing of such outside the marriage supper of the lamb, nothing of sexual intercourse, nothing. There is nothing of such in the Bible. If you are seeing that, you can bring it on. So yes, I'll be glad you come back and show me the Jewish interpretation, because I've been able to show you Christian interpretation that this verse is talking about the peace here on earth, the reformation of the Jewish time, or the coming of the time of Jesus Christ, the kingdom of God. So these are the possibility of interpretation. But it's not necessarily heaven and paradise. So this is my final conclusion. We have to say we call it
Yes, I just want to add on what you said, that okay, because there is never that mentioned in the past scripture, therefore you don't agree with it. I don't think that's a good point, because every prophet comes with something, always comes something new with a new revelation. the same table can also be turned against what Christ brought. That or maybe the one of wine. I don't know if somebody have talked about people will be drinking wine in heaven, but Christ came with that. So should not the Jews say, okay, oh, none of our prophets talk about wine, therefore we cannot believe you. So I don't think this is a good point. That whatever you find something new in the revelation must be since others did not. If everything must have been taught before, then there's no need to even send prophet after prophet, since they must have said whatever the new one would say. So I don't think that's a good point. Then as for
you didn't get my
hello.
point. Go ahead, finish your point.
So as for what you said, that you really made me to lose my train of thought. But there's one you said that
Jews interpretation.
Yeah. I will that's Jewish interpretation. Although I said that I will check that and compare it with what you have. But this about the marriage. You said that it's very plain that they will not be given in marriage, nor will they marry. Like I said, that's what the text suggests. But if you go, that's the context, because they asked a question, and the question they asked is a question that should be understood in light of the answer. That the answer should be understood in line of the question that the solicitor asked. This is my main argument here. It's not as if the text did not suggest as if they will never be married in heaven, but I'm emphasizing on the context based on the question that they asked. Just like you, when it said that, okay, whoever does not hate his father, mother, can never be my follower. So by going by that text, we can say, okay, now it's good for us to hate our brother. No, but the context. So even so this is my point here. I'm going by the context, not by the main text.
Quickly, let me quickly say this before BBTMP want to say something before I call it a day. The Pharisee was asking Jesus to tempt him, to lure him away from the truth of the word of God. But Jesus knew their hearts, because he knew the heart of men. He said he squashed the arguments, he nipped it in the bud before they brought it to life. He squashed it. If there is no need for marriage, why will you ask for marriage replacement? Why? There is no need. That's what Jesus was telling them. There is no need for marriage. So that question is stupid. That is the simplest way of saying it. There is no need for marriage. Why are you asking me? Do they marry? So there is no need. Just leave simply. Before they were shed, before they are shed, just nip it. Number two, Jesus said, Jesus never brought if other prophets, why do other prophets? He said to change the laws. Your Quran says so now. So if Jesus brought something new, the Quran said you affirm it. The Bible affirm it. He came with different new law. So that is why Jesus' case is different. So Muhammad never said he came to different law. He said he came to affirm the Old Testament. He came to affirm the book of Moses. And it's a problem reading things different from what that is my problem with what you are telling in the Quran. TMD, I don't know if you have something, if you don't have anything to say, let's call it today.
I want just one that affirm doesn't mean he came to teach exactly, because if what that means is that he came to teach exactly the same, then there's no need to send him as a prophet. That's what I said, that okay, if there are other Jewish prophets who never talked about wine in heaven, should the Jew now say, okay, since Christ came with wine, we are not going to believe him as a prophet? No, every prophet always have something new to reveal as God planned it. That's why I'm saying it's not a good point to say that, okay, because this is a new thing, therefore I cannot take it. So they confirm that you brought up is to confirm that, yeah, this is a scripture that was sent to them in the past, not to like, okay, I came to say the same thing. if he came to say the same thing, then why even send him in the first place? It makes no sense. Since if we repeat the same thing, he parrot the same thing, exactly the same thing, then it makes no sense of sending him as a prophet. No, he only came to confirm that, yeah, in the past, there was a scripture called the Torah sent to the Jews. There was a scripture called the gospel given to those at the time of Jesus Christ. So this is what confirm mean, not to say that, okay, I came to say exactly the same thing, therefore nothing new will come from me. That's not what he came to do. So I think we should call it a day. I don't know, because I'm outside and there's a bit of cold.
Are you in Russia? Long time, doctor.
Yeah, okay. Who is that? Okay, is that him there? But okay, I can see you.
It's been long. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
I started my master programs, so I have to concentrate on it. So I opted out of it.
That's good.
How's family?
Fine.
All right. Let's just call today because I need to wake up in the midnight and read.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. FSP.
All right.